Shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation is an agricultural system in which plots of land are cultivated temporarily, then burnt, abandoned, and the fallow land is allowed to regenerate to its natural vegetation state while the cultivator moves on to another plot of land. This method of cultivation is also known as the slash and burn method or chum cultivation. The cycle of cultivating, burning, and moving on to another plot of land is known as a chum cycle. This traditional system of cultivation has been and still is practiced in many countries around the world such as South America, Western Europe, Mexico, Laos, Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand, and Bangladesh. In our countries, states like Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Mizoram, Tripura, Meghalaya, Manipur, Sikkim, Assam, Orissa, West Bengal, Jharkhand, Uttaranchal, and Chhattisgarh practice shifting cultivation regularly. Let us now take a look at the ecological implications of shifting cultivation. The consequences of shifting cultivation on the environment are almost always destructive. Due to the increase in population density, farming is becoming more intensively practiced. With the increasing demand for land, shifting cultivation is done too frequently and the soil ends up being drained of all its nutrient content. Due to shifting cultivation, large areas of natural forests have disappeared. Disappearance of native species and the invasion by exotic weeds and other plants are some of the other ecological consequences of shifting agriculture, along with causing soil erosion and the loss of soil fertility. The area having a chum cycle of 3 to 5 years is more vulnerable to weed invasion as compared to an area with a chum cycle of above 5 years. Reduction in the chum cycle affects the recovery of soil fertility and the nutrient conservation by the ecosystem. Economics of shifting cultivation. In the hilly states of India, 2/3 of the cultivable land is under permanent cultivation, while the remaining 1/3 is under shifting or chum cultivation. The commonly held view is that shifting cultivation pays back lower when the production per unit area is converted to its market value. The practice involves extensive and systematic destruction of the forest and its produce, which constitutes a tremendous loss of valuable natural resources to our country. Thus, shifting cultivators have limited financial resources to invest for increasing productivity, which remains low. Therefore, shifting cultivation today is an economically inefficient land use practice. Practicability of shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation has evolved out of the combined effects of the biophysical settings, socio-cultural beliefs, and the lack of effective economic activity. Therefore, if shifting cultivation is a problem, it is part of the total economic development problem. It cannot be isolated from other development issues. Any attempts to abolish it in isolation will have major ramifications on the whole development process. Shifting cultivation provides the best possible solution for subsistence production for farmers. The practice, with or without simultaneous permanent cultivation, cannot be abandoned. Any change in shifting cultivation may affect the lives of more than 80% of farmers. They may face heavy food deficits if the policy interventions and associated programs fail to address their problems. Improvement of shifting cultivation system. Improvement of traditional shifting cultivation would increase the carrying capacity of forest lands by introducing better levels of control and management. Use of effective soil management practices to improve soil fertility would permit farmers to increase the period of cultivation and decrease the fallow period. The introduction of tree crops and new crop varieties besides maize would increase the productivity per unit area. Green manuring, cover and relay cropping with short duration leguminous crops like green gram, black gram, and pigeon pea are expected to improve the production of chum cultivation with the improvement of soil health and fertility. Let us now take a look at a case study of improved shifting cultivation. A field trial was conducted at Difu, Assam to study the effect of slash and burn practice and subsequent intensive management of soil properties and to evaluate improved cultivation practices alternative to shifting cultivation. Cultivation with improved varieties, use of manures and fertilizers, and placing of fruits and vegetables in the border and field crops in the center, sown across and along the slope, and the traditional ones with or without burning of surface litter for land clearing. The highest yield was obtained when pineapple, turmeric, ginger, and aroids were grown in the border, while rice, maize, sesame, and cotton were grown across the slope in the center. Line sowing of center crops across the slope gave much better results. Burning of the surface litter had no effect on the yield and soil pH values. In conclusion, shifting cultivation can be an extremely useful tool to farmers if used efficiently and in combination with modern farming techniques.